Yeah.
So this is Naomi. Naomi has been, if you know me, you've definitely seen her before. She's been one of my house models for 10 years.
Yeah, we're going on 10.
Yeah. So we've done lots of different short haircuts on her. I've actually given her some big hair at some points. And so her cut is actually just perfect for this. So I'm just wetting it down. If you see any shout outs from like different countries, say like so-and-so from Australia or something.
Okay.
That'd be cool.
I'll do my best. Andrew says hi.
Hey, Andrew. But Andrew does hair.
Ooh. Hi from MTL. What's that?
Oh, no. Him too. So the key parts of this haircut are going to be the bangs, around the ears, and the hairline. I'm actually going to leave Naomi's hair a bit longer on top because she doesn't wear it spiky. And so I don't want to kind of force her into that. Naomi is a bass player in probably one of the coolest punk bands around called Itchy Kitty. Go look them up. And she plays bass. So I want to make sure that this haircut is also going to work for what she does for her day job, or what used to be your day job. So is it hard not being able to play?
It's pretty terrible.
Right?
Yeah.
So our hearts go out to all the bands out there that aren't playing right now.
Keep it on. We got a hi from the Czech Republic, hello
Ooh.
from the UK, and hello from Guatemala.
Nice. So you guys probably seen this all over Instagram. This is Arnco's new line, Blue, that is actually by Garen. I am going to use some of it. This is the hair tonic, essential hair tonic. They'll be using in Naomi's hair. Just to get the porosity evened out. Give me a nice clean surface to work on. It smells amazing.
Yeah, it smells really good.
So then you know we don't have COVID because we can smell it. Watch your clients, if you spray stuff and they can't smell it, or they don't say, oh, that smells amazing, you're like, can I take your temperature?
Would you like a temperature taken?
So again, the main parts of this haircut, for those of you just joining, we're referencing a movie called The Legend of Billie Jean. And it's an amazing short 80s haircut, but I'm gonna do it a bit different. I'm gonna do it with a Razer. And if you know me, and you know my work, I tend to start wherever the most important part of the cut is gonna be. If I'm giving bangs, I'm gonna start there. If I'm cutting the top super short and that's gonna be the focal point, I'm gonna start there. But for this haircut, it's actually gonna be the hairline. Because this is actually going to start and build this haircut to the longer fringe in the front. So I want to start there. Now, a couple things with short hair, especially with this haircut. Your head down for me. With the hairline, I want to bring this in quite tight. Now, if we were going like full on 80s, I'd probably clipper cut it, or at least scissor over comb it. The thing is that with Naomi's hair, I don't want it to be blunt. I want it to be soft. So I'm gonna Razer cut it, but I'm gonna follow her growth pattern. If her growth pattern went this way, I'd start my sections in that direction. But Naomi's hair grows this way, so I'm actually gonna be cutting it here. And this is the part, if it was a live class, I'd be like, everybody come close. But we can't, so I'll try to move this camera as close as we can. There we go. That a little better? Hope so. Hi, everybody. I wish I could talk to you. I'm liking this because it doesn't give me a ton of grip. Keeps the hair quite soft, but not overly slick. If you use a primer on some companies, it's like the hair's too slick to work with. This actually still feels like hair. So be using a razor. I'm going to start with the center section down the back. Sections are everything. Keeping it clean, keeping it combable. You guys got to watch out for these things. You grab them with your comb. It's like, oh, it's like somebody's raw falling off. It's like, oh, put that back on. Okay, so center section down the back. Nice and clean. I'm going to work one side, then I'm going to work the other side. I start on my left side just because it's comfortable. You can start wherever you want. So I'm going to section this with the amount of hair I can control in my hand. And we got plenty of time. This haircut will probably go quite quick, so just going to take our time watching her growth pattern, really making sure everything's combed the way it grows. If you can't see, I do apologize. I'm going to move this light. There we go. Oh, that's a little better. So I'm going to take my first section. It's right in the middle. Everybody can see that. And I'm going to hold it straight out from the head, slightly down, right? I'm not going to be up here. I don't want to layer this. I want to still graduate it. So I'm going to pull slightly down. You'll be hearing that a lot in this haircut. I'm using the heel of the blade, and I'm just going to cut that hair in, and I'm going to check it. See if it's short enough. It's not. There we go. So now our hairline just cuts in. I don't want to make it blunt because if I make it blunt as it grows out, it's going to grow out chunky. I don't want it chunky. Again, using the heel of the blade to cut my hairline in. Hopefully everybody can see that. See it, slight angle, heel of the blade, medium stroke, just to keep it soft. It's good. I'm going to switch to the other side. Hopefully my arm won't block you. I'm just cleaning up this hairline. It's a good start. Let me take this a little shorter. And again, I'm using the razor because I want it soft. Scissors are great when you need them, but they definitely do a very specific thing. A razor can have a little bit more control over if it's going to be more blunt or if it's going to be softer. So up to my next section. Again, still pulling it down. And just working that hairline in. Again, this is the most important part of the haircut, especially if you're dealing with any short hair. The hairline will make or break it. Heel of the blade, taking the hairline in tight and cutting with the growth pattern. There we go. And I'm back. I know where we are right now, our internet's been really horrible. Or Wi-Fi. So again, you can see it. It's just working nice and soft. I'm just going to keep working this up. Now I'm going to take a section a little closer to the occipital bone. But again, keeping it clean. I think that's something that as hairdressers, we don't practice enough. Just practice sectioning. Nice clean sections. So I'm going to turn her just slightly so you guys can see it hopefully. And I'm still keeping a low elevation on this because I want to build this weight up to her crown. I don't want to collapse it. Right. Slightly low elevation, heel of the blade, down to my previous. It's technical hairdressing or hair cutting, but it's got some feeling to it. It's not overly mechanical, which I tend to like a lot better. But we do the mechanical haircuts as well. And if that's what you need, then that's what you do. And I'm just working this right up to just behind her ear. If you notice, I switched to the tip of the blade and I got by the ear because I don't want to use the heel because the blade's that close to her ear. So you just switch to another part. Working to the next side of the head. And I know where my guide is. I'm not overthinking it, like pull straight to the guide, but I can see it and I know where it's at. So I'm still using that. Low elevation, heel of the blade. And use parts of the blade will depend on where I'm at on the head. Because again, now I can still use the heel on this side of her hair because the blade is away from her. Just little safety things for those of you that aren't used to working with it. Again, if I was trying to do something really, I wanted it to look really 80s, I would have just scissor overcombed this. Because if you look up the reference or if you've seen the film, it's a very structured haircut. It's like I want to do that haircut, but I want to take the structure out of it. Now above the occipital bone. Everybody can see that. Your head's still down. I want it down. Because again, now I'm going to start lifting my elevation out a little bit. Because now I want to start collapsing where this gets really round. I want that to lay flatter. Where on the flat of the head, I want it to be a little rounder. But this is what makes hair cutting so much fun. It's so enjoyable. Because you have to put your feeling into it. You can't just be A, B, C, D, connect the dots. It has to be your interpretation of And that's what makes great hairdressers. And if you saw the last one I did of these little Facebook Lives on Hairbrain, I did a shag, kind of like an 80s rocker haircut, hair metal. And that was a lot of fun, and it just shows that, you know, the 80s are huge right now. And if you don't know the techniques that were used, you need to research it to find out. This 80s is going to be different than 90s. As you guys can see, I'm starting to take that roundness out of here. Any cool comments?
Just a lot of watching.
You may tell me to go home.
Not yet.
when the trolls show up. You suck.
You suck.
Should kind of do that though, right? It's like go watch an educator and you're like waiting for him to mess up.
Some people just love to hate.
Yeah. It's like when you go see a band and they don't play it like they did on the recording.
Oh man.
You're like, oh, they screwed up. It's like, no, they changed it.
Yeah, most of the time, like, live performance is completely different from the studio,
Right.
too. And it's like, people don't understand that.
So again, now, you see my section. We used to call this, like, the headphone section, because all the kids would wear their headphones right here. But it's at the lower crown. So as I build this weight up, that's about where I want that weight to start. It's going to start connecting me to the top. So I'll take my section. I'll show you guys what it looks like. So there's my section. It's at a slight angle because I'm following this head shape. I'm pushing everything to the sides. I don't want it square. I'm gonna bring your head up just a little bit. Now, I've been cutting everything at a low elevation and cutting from the top down. But now I need to really start working this stuff into the top. So now I'm gonna start from the underneath, changing my angle up. So now I'm actually getting longer at the top because I reversed it. If I went from the top down, this top would be shorter. So I always think in this aspect that if I cut bottom up, I'm making it stand up. If I cut from the top down, I'm making it lay down. So when you need to figure out, okay, how do I need to cut this? That's an easy way to determine. And that's it. Oops.
Ooh,
Have some hair.
thank you.
She's used to it. Just building that up, moving it around. Now here, right behind the ear, I'm going to reverse it because I don't want that to stand up. I'm just going to take that off. So it's like that builds up, that collapses. This is where the fun comes in. It's making those decisions. And they're your decisions, nobody else's decisions. Nobody put it on a head sheet and said, do it this way. It's your head sheet. But you got to learn it first before you can start making it up. So if you don't know how, go to places that teach basic haircutting. Sassoon's always my first choice. because it's got a great program, especially for basics. Get you started, and then start working your way up. So you can see it. It's really great on the silhouette. So you can see I'm building, and then I start pushing everything up. Because what's above it's the top. So I don't want to touch that yet. Cool? Boop. There she is.
Hello.
Hello. I was talking, if you know R&Co, you know that our founders are Howard McLaren and Garen, Tom Priano. And I sent Garen a message last night. I said, you're doing an Instagram live at the same time I'm doing a Facebook live. And he was like, oh, are we competing? So hopefully our numbers on this, 143 people, are bigger than his numbers. Although, of course, I wish him well. So, collapsed all this in. Now I need to work the sides. A couple things I need to pay attention to. These guys are Naomi's signature. She hates it when they get cut off.
It's true.
So I need to know that I need to keep those a little longer, because that's what she likes. And again, it's just a reference, which is what Billie Jean's look is, not religion. So I can leave some of these, but they're starting to get a little long.
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
Oh yeah. You can make them a little shorter if you want.
So I'm gonna actually come in just with these guys and shorten them up. So the first thing I'm gonna do is get this hair off her ear. I'll show you what I did. Nope. So I just sectioned just above her ear. You won't be able to see this because my hand's going to be in the way, but I'll try to pivot her to where you can see as much of it. I'm going to take my middle finger and place it over her ear. That's my safety point. The rest of the hair I'm going to comb over my finger and hold it. Let's see here. Let's see if we can do this here. I want to get a better angle for you guys. Let's see if this angle works out a little bit better. So my finger right behind your ear, holding your ear down. The other hair comes right over my finger, locked into place my top finger. And then I can just work this blade to my middle finger. Right? So then all the hair is there. And I'm able to cut around her ear. So I'll do that again on the top side. And my fingers are not held straight together like you would with scissors. They're staggered. My middle finger is actually on top of this finger. So I can cut to my middle finger without this one getting in the way. Same gig. I found a little hair here that wants to get away from me. But this way, you're not going to turn her into Picasso. He's the one that cut his ear off, right?
Van Gogh.
Van Gogh, that's what I meant. That was a pretty bad mix-up.
Oh,
Yeah, Van Gogh.
they were all crazy.
Don't want to cut off her ear. So now I got this hair that's in front. Sorry, my arm's blocking, so I'm going to move her back. You don't have to take that off. You're fine. Looks like you're going to throw up.
What? I'm just holding
Holding
on
the
there.
mask.
Yeah.
So I'm just working this around the ear. Again, this is definitely a focal point. You need to get it right. That's better. So now what I'm going to do is comb the rest that's above it. Got my section here at the ridge. So I'm going to start collapsing all of this hair. So again, to collapse, I'm going to cut from the top. Anybody saying anything? You see it?
Just a lot of people tuning in.
Lots of people tuning in.
Welcome all.
Everybody's out of work. So just collapsing all that weight. Cool.
Yes.
Feel good.
Yes, I do. I'm very excited.
Naomi was the first haircut I did after shutdown in June, and she cried.
Yes, I did. It was very relieving.
She was very happy to have all that hair cut off because she started looking like a middle-aged housewife.
Yeah, I did not look good. It was bad. It was a bad time.
So all I have left is the softness around her hairline, which this is an 80s cut, so I actually want to get rid of that. So now it's a much more solid line. So same thing, section out right at the ridge, right at the upper recession. Just like on the other side. Well, I can't say that. Everybody always says that. Like, oh, cut the other side just like you did that side. I don't know what kind of yoga you do, but this is a completely different side. It's a completely different angle. So it has to be cut differently. But as you guys can, I know it's hard with COVID, but as you guys can, practice. Even if it's on a mannequin head, your wife, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, whoever's around, you know, get a doll head. Practice your sections. Practice your razor work. Practice your scissor work. Got it?
Mm-hmm.
Cool, thank you.
No problem.
Appreciate the help. But practice, practice, practice. I know a lot of people after or during lockdown that didn't practice, then they forgot how to cut hair. And they opened back up.
Oh no.
Yeah. I was fortunate because I got to teach classes on Zoom. So I kept cutting. But I had to remember how to cut hair on a mannequin head. All right, so I have all that hair cut off her ear. And now I'm gonna start collapsing that weight. Turn you this way. Boom. So again, just to recap, for those of you that are joining in late, I don't hold it against you. Life happens. But this is Naomi. My name is Douglas, and I am a senior global educator with ARNCO. And we are doing an 80s short crop referencing The Legend of Billie Jean, which is a film from '85. Quite amazing haircut. But to change it and make it modern, we're doing it all with the Razer. I thought this would be a good one because even when I used to travel around, when we could do that, I'd always hear people say that they use a razor, but they only used it on long hair. So it's like, you can use it on any length. I mean, we can even do razor over comb if we want to. So hopefully this will inspire some people to start using their razor on their short hair clients. Because the benefit is it grows out so well.
It really does.
You know, I see my clients, I push them out to where I see them seasonally. So they either get their fall cut, winter cut, spring cut, or I see them twice a year. They get their fall, winter haircut, their spring, summer haircut. And then we let it grow. And what's nice about that is we let it grow into something else. And then when they come back in, rarely do I get to hear, do what you did last time. Because they either love it, love what it grew out into. Where's the hole? There it is. They either love what it grew out into and they want to keep it longer, or they want to go shorter, but by then the cut you did before is gone. And you can change it.
One of your top fans says, would you use Razer for any types of texture?
Yeah, actually, if it's going to give me, if that's the texture I need, then I'm going to use it. It's a great question. The only texture you can't use a razor on is that curl that kinks. You know, it looks like a lightning bolt. That I would not be using a razor on. Fine hair, I can use a razor, but I'm probably going to use more of a dull blade. But yeah. But again, if that's the texture I need. If I need scissors, I'm cutting it with a scissor. But you've got the control over that. Now I'm sectioning this into more of a side part because, and I'll re-show you guys the picture, the photo, reference photo. It's got a pretty severe side part. That's not severe enough. I'm not going to cut to a side part, but it's always nice to take a look. So for those of you just joining, this is the look we're going for, but a modern version of it. So not an exact replica, but that idea. And what's really great is on the sides, you can see where the weight's pushed up to the top, right? That's what we want. So now that I've cut here, collapsed all the weight, collapsed everything in the back. Let everybody see the back real quick. Right? But this is what's great about a razor. No matter what direction I push it in, it will go. No matter what. That's why it was so important in the 40s and even in the 20s of having that razor so that hair will just tuck and hide tight. But you can see what I haven't cut, which is here. So you can see where that's sitting. So now that I've collapsed the sides, collapsed the back, I'm actually going to do the top next because I'm saving this length. Because if you see in the picture, it's longer, but it's shorter here. So I'm going to start working this top. Yeah, you can put that on. Thank you.
Anytime.
So here's what I'm going to do. I want you guys to see it. I'm actually going to do a center section, but like a mohawk section. I'm sure there's a technical version or name for it, but Mohawk section just sounds more natural. Just a section right down the center. It's quite thick because I want some drag on the blade as I cut it. Because if I don't have that, it's going to look too blunt. I want it soft. So I'll spin here. I'm going to raise this up just a little bit. There we go. There, hopefully you guys can see now. So I haven't cut this. I'm going to cut this, and then I'm going to go to this. Because I want full control over the top of this hair. So I'm going to remove some weight. And then cut my length. There. Remove some weight. Cut my length. This blade is at an angle. Don't come in and cut like this. The blade's got to come up. That elbow has to be up. Elbow acts as a counterbalance. Now I don't want to lose that length in the front. So what I'm going to do is take my next section. I'm going to pull this to my previous section. It's not much weight. Give yourself some room to cut with the blade. Too many people, it's like, okay, that's where I would cut it if I was using scissors, but I'm cutting below. So your finger has to be up above where you're going to cut. And then take the same section on this side. Comb it to my previous. There's a little bit of weight there I'm going to take out. Cool. So literally, there's my top. Now what I haven't cut is this hair right here. Now I need to connect what I cut underneath it and what I cut on top. Again, not doing the bangs quite yet. So what a lot of times you'll do, right, is you're gonna cut it this way, because that's your corner, right? I've cut the top, cut the underneath, now I take that corner off. I don't want to do that because I want to maintain some length. So what I'm going to do, see how close we can get, creepy close, is I'm going to take a section from the top into what I cut below, which looks like this guy. That guy right there. And then what I'm going to do is actually pull this down. So there's what I cut for the top. There's what I cut on the sides. And it all blends in. Just collapses it. Much more fun. If I went up and cut that corner off, odds are I'm going to make it too short. So this way, we're just cutting down, cutting from what I cut on the top down to what I cut on the sides. And I'm cutting it at an angle because I'm on the round of the head. I don't want this square. If I wanted it square, then I'd cut it that way.
Lots of O emojis.
Oh. But you can see how it leaves that movement, right? And don't be afraid to mess with the hair while you cut it. Move it around. Did you take enough weight out? And I don't want this to go forward. Naomi's never going to wear a hair like this.
No.
That was like a late 80s thing that everybody was doing. It's like, I want it to fall natural. So it falls natural. And all I have is that elixir from Arnco Blue, and you can see how shiny it is. But it does not feel oily at all, which is fantastic.
Oh.
There we go. So I'm going to do same idea on this side. There is my guide for the top. There's my guide for the sides. Low elevation. Cut that off. And I haven't cut two apart. If I want to go this way, I can. If I want to go that way, I can. Melissa, do your color?
Mm-hmm.
When?
A couple weeks ago.
Nice.
Yeah.
One of my team, Melissa, did Naomi's color. It's a beautiful bleaching tone.
She's a saint of color.
Saint of color. I'm going to put that on a shirt for her. And if you haven't heard the rumors already, Arnco's coming out with a color line. My friend Ricky is putting together for us. So we're highly excited about that. All right, so I've taken that down, saving the bangs. I'm gonna do those last. But what I need to do is now I get to connect the top with the crown. So same idea as I did on this, connecting the top to the sides, but I'm going by her growth pattern. She's got her calyx right here. That's what I'm starting at, because that's going to end up being the shortest part no matter what. So I want to use that guy. So there's the hair I cut on the top. I'm just going to use low elevation and cut that off down to what I already cut in the back. And for you guys that want to start educating, my advice to everybody is start educating at your salon. Educate your team. But what's really great is that while you're doing a haircut, talk yourself what you're doing in that haircut in your head. Because you might find you get to a spot where you're like, well, why did I do that? And then you got to figure it out. And that's how you learn. See? I just took all that out. Right? Cool. So now I need to put a bit more of the character into this. So now I'm going to cut the front. And as you can see in the photograph, I'll bring this out again. It's all right, Apple Pencil.
Someone also asked what product you're using to work with.
So the only thing that's in her hair right now, who was that?
I forgot already.
Cool. This is Essential Hair Tonic by Arnco Blue. This is our line that we had Garen make for us. So here's the reference photo. But what's cool is how short it is It's asymmetrical in the front. So I actually want to do that. Should hold that.
No problem. What type of razor are you using?
A sharp
Jam?
one.
A sharp one.
This razor is a feather razor, feather plie, that you can actually order off of Hairbrain. But the handle was made by my good friends at Great Lakes Razor Company. Made a really nice wood handle. I told them I wanted it to look like a pirate, and that's what they made. That's the finish they put on it. So how I'm going to do this, you guys can see it. I'm actually going to go by my shortest point, and then I'm going to work my way long. So that's literally how I'm choosing this. There's a slight elevation, fairly wide stroke. So that we get that short to long feel. I'm going to bring in one more. So don't want it inner eyes. We're not trying to go for like that 80s new wave look, the waver look, which is actually what I looked like in 85.
Really?
Oh yeah. Used my mom's curling iron to straighten my bangs over my eyes.
Nice.
Oh yeah, it's fantastic. If it rained, everybody smelled like Aquanet. So I've got it going short to long on this side, but I don't like it when hair does one thing. I want it to do everything. So I'm gonna go short to long on this side. Again, using my shortest point, elevate it out slightly, heel of the blade. I'm just taking this to the center, over directing the center back so that it keeps my length. So now she can wear it this side, or she can wear it that side. And as you guys can see, it's a completely different look. She goes off this side, see what happens to her eyes, to her head. We'll someday be able to see her face. And if she comes off this side, it's a different look. So your growth pattern on either side is going to be different. If you go with the growth pattern, it will lay usually a little flatter. If you go against the growth pattern, you'll get a bit more volume. And that's how you change your styling. So now that I've got the cut mostly finished, what time is it?
What? No.
Can you open that and just click on it? It should say the time.
1:55.
1:55, cool. I literally have 5 minutes, which is perfect. So literally have this haircut done. Now I'm just gonna go in and do some quick detailing, refine it. Checking my weight, checking my balance. And the camera is my mirror, so constantly checking, looking. So it can't be an 80s cut without gel, so I'm going to use motorcycle gel, which is a really great gel, just about that much. What I like about it is that it goes on like a gel, but it dries like a wax. So we can push it around. It's not going to be stiff. It's not that kind of 80s look. And of course, they would blow dry it with a blow dryer, which I don't want to do because then you won't be able to hear me. I'll mess this top up just a little bit more. Check profile. Great, right? Back, head down. Great hairline. If I blow dried it, it would just get fluffier, which is cool. But in this day and time, not many people are blow drying anymore. So it's nice just to let it air dry. She's got her little pieces, so she'll be happy. And it's like the more I work this with my hands, the warmer it will get. The more curl I can get out of it. Cool.
Ooh.
So why don't you do me a favor, get this thing off and put that jacket on for me.
Yeah.
Off camera. Thank
Of course.
you. So she's gonna go get into the outfit. I'm gonna shoot her. But just to recap, first of all, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you, Hairbrain, for allowing us. Thank you to R&Co for allowing me to have this opportunity to hang out. Again, I feel for everybody in California, we all need to send our support. You know, you can do the whole love and prayer thing, but you know, it's just our love is there, and we feel for you guys. R&Co feels for you. The only thing I used in Naomi's hair is the Essential Hair Tonic from R&Co Blue and Motorcycle Gel from R&Co, which dries like a wax, so I can still bend it and everything as it dries. Right, come over. Let's show what Naomi actually looks like. There we go. So it fits character. Good.
I like it a lot too. I can see all the stuff I can do with it.
Right? So we're gonna play with it. I'll put up photos on my Instagram, which is Douglas_McCoy72. I'll also put it on my Facebook as well, and I'll try to put it in this feed. But thank you all for joining us. Big love from R&Co, and I'll see you next time. Take care.
Bye.
This is the fun part. How do I turn it off? How do I stop?
I don't know.
There's a
Oh, it's finished?
where?
Bottom?